Moving on to the main event. Brock Lesnar, the Beast, versus Goldberg in his first match in 12 years. Oh my God. Did anyone see this coming?
No, I blinked and I missed it.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, that was just longer than what happened.
But that was the beauty of it for me.
My brother, who's huge wrestling fan, I'd probably call him the biggest mark out there, like, that I know. He's like, you know why I wasn't mad that he got speared that first time? And I was like, why? Because they made him get up, like, turn his back away from Goldberg, and I was like, yeah, so, like, well, that just meant that, like, he didn't think anything of it. He underestimated him. So, like, when you underestimate someone, you're gonna get up that way. You're not gonna, like, really, like, look at him. So when he got speared, I was like, well, that's what happens when you turn your back.
Yeah.
And then the second spear was more believable because the first spear, and then the jackhammer because of the two subsequent spears, and then you're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because, I mean, that's how his matches went in WCW.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you know, going up against Hugh Morris, your match should be looked about the same as going up against Brock Lesnar.
So me and Paula talked about this earlier. Me and my brother Dan talked about this at San Jose. The word squash, like, that entails, like, you basically, like, you know, ending someone's run to, like, get a rub off you, and then, like, you're gonna take off from that squash. But within a squash, there are matches where, like this match, Brock Lesnar didn't necessarily take a hit in any way. He's just still Brock Lesnar.
He's also like a 60-year-old man.
In reality, but in the wrestling world, he's fine.
In the wrestling world, that happened is he got caught off guard, he was too cocky, and yes, he lost to a 6-year-old man, but that's not happening again. Or at least that's what the story is.
But in wrestling, it's like 60's a new 30, right? Who knows? Anyway, but... So we need a new word. The best word I could think of is squish, because it's not a squash. I don't know.
Like a smush?
Maybe a smush.
Yeah. When me and Dave talked about this earlier, I came up with possibly the word is a Sasquatch match, where it's a squash match, but how did I describe it?
A little bit of extra sass on it.
I don't know.
I like that. It was a squash match where you couldn't believe what you just saw.
Yeah.
Like, basically, sure, a 60-year-old Goldberg just squashed Brock Lesnar, but it was for all the right reasons, and at the end of the day, Brock Lesnar doesn't get hurt for it. All you need to know is that he's likely going to get a rematch at some point, and he's going to destroy Goldberg when that happens. Right now, they needed to do two things, non-kayfabe, for Goldberg. One, they needed to make him look strong in the most unexpected of ways, because we have the baggage from their last match at WrestleMania, which was freaking awful. Everyone got booed out of the building for it. And two, they needed something to show their audiences that we're willing to do anything to show you something you haven't seen. And this goes back to, you know, what we were talking about before in terms of the Intercontinental title match. And I'll give you the point where, like, it doesn't have to be, like, all the time. This was probably the moment it had to happen. Because everyone expected either a really long match where Goldberg loses, or a really short match where Goldberg loses. Doing that the other way around, no one can believe what they just saw.
I thought it was going to be a really short match where Goldberg loses.
Goldberg wasn't ready for this match physically, at least from a non-kayfabe perspective, like from all the reports that I had heard beforehand. He just wasn't ready physically. So they needed to make this match as short as possible. So do 2 spears and a jackhammer and end it quickly.
That's literally all we need from you.
Yeah, for what it's worth, it shocked everyone. No one could have believed what they just saw. It was a Sasquatch match.
You know what? The more I hear you say it, the more I'm going to use that one. Sasquatch match. We have it on video. You can't claim it. It's ours.
Copyright.
Copyright.